F you, behavior. I could leave it like that, but I know half this community is dumb as rocks. I know I'm gonna end up having to edit it out of this video, but f you, behavior. Like, I knew you were gonna f it up. I didn't think you were gonna f it up as bad as you have. I mean, you could have f it up worse, but you did pretty good f it up this time. Anybody who thinks these are actual buffs are casual killers or brain dead. Or their survivor mains trying to make it look like behavior did something good. They did not. Decrease time to recall fire acts when embedded in the environment to 6 seconds. This is what everybody has been asking for. 7 seconds to 6 seconds is not that great. And on top of that, if you still want what you had with menu, you still have to use menu. This is what behavior does. This is the bullshit that they do. They spew out all this good of, we hear you, we understand, we're gonna buff killers. They don't buff except survivors, and that is exactly what they did here. And it pisses me off because I don't know who's consulting them on Springtrap. They need to be fired. I guarantee you it's one of those streamers that rotates him, doesn't really understand him. They have a grasp of him, but they don't understand him. They don't understand what the Springtrap community is dealing with. I guarantee you. And if they actually did give behavior like actual advice, they need to come out on every platform they're on and say, hey, I did not tell them to go like this. I told them X, Y, and Z because this is not a buff. Yeah, 1 second off. It does not make that much of a difference. I have seen people go, oh, he's A tier, he's S tier now. And that is bullshit. You either do not play him, except maybe once in a great while, or you're really, really bad at Springtrap, and you have no idea what the f you're doing if you think that this was a good buff. Is it something? Yeah, it's something. I mean, behavior did everything for some. Look at Skull Merchant. Skull Merchant got something. Wow, she got whole new icons. Wow, that is a great buff for Skull Merchant. New icons. It's something. Does that mean it's good? Does that mean it's acceptable? 1 second off. So I'm going to explain this. So to people who can't do math, and I'm going to guess that's quite a few people in this brain dead community, because everyone in my Discord seems to be able to do math just fine, and they're all Springtrap players, so maybe there's just something special about Springtrap players. 20% of lower recall speed at 7 seconds. So old, when I say old, I mean non-PTB bullshit, was 20 seconds. Old recall was 7 seconds. If you're not with me, so throw the axe. It would take you 7 seconds to recall it. Menu shortened it by 20 seconds. That was 5.6 seconds. Are people still with me? 5.6 seconds. That was very short, or at least shorter. It was considered the sweet spot by a majority of Springtrap players because you would still be punished for missing. You would still have that obnoxious 2-second post-throw bullshit that I went on in the video about behavior. You better be careful. And they were not careful, and now Springtrap players at high MMR are gonna hurt. Thank you, behavior. So back to the 5.6 seconds of recall. That was considered a sweet spot. You would still be punished, but you could also recover fast enough to, do a chase like normal. Like other killers. You would not be punished that much for 5.6 seconds. Now you could say, oh, but that's only 0.4 seconds less than 6 seconds. That is what makes the difference. And behavior knows that. So what is it now, you would ask? Okay, well, 6 seconds with only a 10% reduction. So the PTB version, you get a whole 5.4 seconds. 0.2 seconds less. Why even change him at that point? 1 second is great if you're horrible with Springtrap. That 1 second means nothing to me. I will still end up having to use menu. Because, again, palette, the spawn logic bug, the generator speed, which, I will get into that bullshit. Because behavior is so stupid, they do not understand why people complain. Or I should say, they understand, they just don't listen to anyone other than the entitled survivor mains and whoever the is on their payroll giving them advice for killers. Now, I know people are going to come and say, well, Lilith Omen does blight. He directly, okay, Lilith Omen is a very likable person. I've watched a lot of his streams. I've watched some of his videos, especially when I was trying to learn Blight. So let's look at this. Decreased Blight's default movement to 1.4. This means nothing. See, unlike whoever helped him with Springtrap, Lilith Omen, who, let's be real, Blight is still probably the strongest killer in the game. Even with all this. What Lilith Omen looked like he did was came in and gave them advice to not really hurt Blight, not really bring him down a few pegs. What's gonna happen, because nobody at high MMR with Blight is just walking around the map. Nobody. You use his powers. This means nothing. Breaking a down pallet reduces rush tokens from 2 below maximum and resets current rush tokens to 0%. This means nothing. Why? Because a lot of people who are higher Blights know how to tech around corners and pallets. This means nothing. They will rush tech or shoulder tech those pallet corners or the corners of loops, and they will down your ass anyway. This means nothing. I rarely ever see Blight take time to break a pallet. This means nothing. Blight will still be. Everyone was celebrating his nerf. What nerf? All this does is makes it harder for people who are crutching on Blight to use Blight. Anyone who actually knows how to use him, this means absolutely nothing. And see, that's the difference. Whoever was helping them with Springtrap didn't do this. They actively hurt it. They actively made it so Springtrap was harder to play. You say, oh, how's that? 1 second. 1 second. And if you will still have to use restaurant menu, and you only get 0.2 second less than the original or the live version. 1 second doesn't mean anything unless you're fucking crutching. Like, whoever did Springtrap did it in reverse. They're hurting people, or they're doing absolutely nothing for people, but if you want to crutch on Springtrap, or for whatever reason, I don't know why you'd want to crutch on him of all the killers. Go crutch on Ghoul or something. This 1 second, in the PTB, I guarantee you it'll feel nice. Because it is shorter. Yeah, it is 1 second shorter. In live, this won't make a bit of difference. Decrease time to recall the fire axe when embedded in survivors. Why? Why? Why would you ever want to do that? Well, you don't have your power. Okay, why? I'm trying not to have an aneurysm while I'm going over this. 8 seconds to 10 seconds, why? If it's in their back, they're broken, you get reading on them by the axe. You can see the axe move through the air. You get information from them, and on top of that, they are broken and oblivious. Plus, there is also an add-on that increases the time it takes for them to remove the axe. Why would you want it out of their back sooner? You say, well, it loops. If you're having trouble with this, then you are a Springtrap player. This has never been a issue. Ever. I don't know who's having a issue with this, but you're not playing him right. And I know he's versatile, and I know he can be played in different ways. If you're having trouble because your axe is in a survivor's back, you have some problems. And then you say, well, I need it for attacks. Because I've been playing twins a lot lately, just so they can slug, because I'm tired of fast track. Just slug a 4K. That's the best way to play right now. It's the same thing with Victor. If they try to kidnap your axe, treat it like they're trying to kidnap Victor. Just don't recall it. They can't do a gen. They can't heal. They literally cannot do anything with your axe in their back. It's a 1v3 at that point. Why would you want to fucking recall it? Say, well, I want the down. Okay, I guarantee you the survivor is going to fucking remove it themselves. And then depending on the loop, you might not have a good shot. Depending on the loop, you say, oh, well, it's a 50-50, okay. Do you not know how to lunge? Why would you ever need this? This is just something to give behavior, so they can say we did something. You ain't doing it. And right fucking here, they fucking buff Swifts, just like I said they would. Decrease battery consumption per camera to 6% was 7%. This First off, behavior. That bull you were spewing about, oh, we want survivors to interact more with the doors. They will never interact more with the doors. Get that through your thick skulls. Over there in the balance department. This will not encourage them to use the doors. Why? Because solo queue and low MMR survivors will never use the doors. They still get condemned by Sadako. They get caught in lockers by Dredge. You really think all you did was buff Swifts at high MMR? I had a game last night where all I was getting was a 4-man TTV squad, all P100s, all running JITs, and guess what? As soon as I got into a chase with one, somebody was on the camera giving permanent wall hacks to their teammate, so I couldn't mind game. And guess what? They hit some of those 2v8 tile spawns that came in due to your broken logic, and I just had to drop. And then guess what? It was just a rinse and repeat. Now you just gave them the ability to do it more. Oh, and look at that. The gens are going to go faster because now they can use it for teleporting more. Thank you for buffing Swifts against Springtrap. While simultaneously not doing a thing against his, the low MMR and solo queues. Because I guarantee you, you didn't do a thing to encourage survivors outside of Swifts and high MMRs to fucking use the doors. You have just crippled him in high MMR. It might not be that much, but you have still crippled him. Low MMR? Nothing. Fucking solo queue? Nothing. But Swifts, just like always, in your desperate attempt to bring solo queue up to Swift level, you have, again, giga buff Swifts. Your entire balance team needs to be purged, and whoever, gave you all of this needs to be removed. And somebody who is actually competent and not on your payroll needs to be put in. This is ridiculous. He has real issues that you are ignoring so you can play this patty cake bullshit. Say, look at what we did. We gave you buffs. You didn't buff other than survivors. This, not needed. Anyone who's moaning about this, find another killer. Anyone who thinks this is a fantastic buff, I'm sorry to tell you, it is not. You will still be having to run menu, and you barely, and I mean barely, 1/5 of a second, barely get a better speed or a lower recall time. This is that same bullshit of, look at what we did, when you really didn't do anything. This pisses me off. And I'm not pissed off at, because I had zero expectations. I already knew you guys were going to f this up. I'm pissed off because of everyone in the Discord who was like, well, give them a chance. I'm sure they'll be able to buff Springtrap. And then they saw this and they're like, what the f? What kind of buffs are these? To which I had to say, yeah, this is what I was expecting. Bullshit. The only good thing, and I won't say the only good thing, is this. Axe binding for grab axe button updated to use power input instead of attack input. And that is not a buff. That is a quality of life change that should never have happened. Whoever the f decided to put the axe grab and the fucking M1 on the same, not only on the same button, but where you couldn't separate them, should have been fired too. 9 months. That has been an issue for 9 months. Springtrap players would rightfully get a loot bag hit and then end up M1ing the survivor through the gate because whoever was too lazy to separate the 2 buttons. 9 months for that, and that is not a buff. That is behavior fixing their first that never should have happened. You behavior. The only killer who got an actual buff was the mastermind, and he's the strongest one on this list. Classic behavior. The animatronic add-ons. Restaurant menu. I already went over that. Decrease the minimum time by 10% was 20. Yeah, the reason they did this from 20 to 10 was because they wanted the outcome to not change. This is part of the doing and not doing really problem they have. So take a second away from here, but to even it out, take 10% from here. What is the result? 0.2 seconds. That's the result. 0.2 seconds. That's all you get if you use restaurant menu. And it's still better than without it. Because without it, it's 6. With it, it's 5.4. They didn't do... I am so tired of behavior and their bullshit at this point. I have Springtrap mains in my Discord who have not played this game in months. because it's so miserable right now. And who are they taking advice from? Dumb, apparently. While aiming, the fire axe fills survivors within 6 meters of security doors with killer instinct. Was 4 meters. This doesn't mean either. While aiming, because all they did was add 2 meters. This does not mean either. I see, behavior doesn't understand their own game, or they just don't give a because it's still survivor mains that are doing everything. So, door distance logic is 16 meters from a generator. 16 meters from a generator. So, even if you increase that to 6 meters, there is still a 10 meter chance somewhere in there, depending on where the door spawns, that you got a useless add-on. I am so sick of this. If they had given Killer the same grace as Survivor, and what is it, 14? No, what is it, 20, what is it? So brain fucking dead when I have to use it, I don't have to look at it, I just know it's gonna happen. I don't remember, it was something like obnoxious, like 12 or 14 meters, it might have been in the 20 somewhere. That is useful. This is not. A whole 2 extra meters, wow. I guess if you run this, you'll be hoping and praying that the door is close enough, because it is fully RNG related now. You're gonna have to hope and pray that the door is somewhere close enough, or a survivor happens to wander close enough to the door to pick it up while you're holding, because you can't run the whole game with your axe in the air. 6 meters from 4, it doesn't matter, because there is a 16 meter spawn logic from a generator. It could spawn at the very end of that 16 meters, and then you would be 10 meters, and the survivor may never even go near it. That's why everybody was saying access panel needs a rework, along with Eerie. The Eerie Remnant needs a rework. Is that in there? No. Is a post-throw cooldown in there? No. Is anything that is a serious issue with Springtrap on here? No! Okay, they gave you a whole bunch of nothing, expect you to enjoy it. And there are some people who are like praising the whole 1 second recall. Wow. Yeah, he's really S and A tier now because he's got 1 second recall. They didn't do for him. Not if you actually understand how to play him. This is a big fat nothing burger. Except for, if you're a survivor, you sure do get to abuse the cameras a little more. But who cares? I mean, right? You behavior and the horse you rode in on. I hope when Halloween comes out, it just destroys your numbers. So when corporate comes and say, hey, what's going on? Your whole entire dev team, not the dev team. Let me rephrase that. The balance team gets wiped out and replaced. Like, you think that's cute? You want to say, oh, but we really did something. You didn't do. You help survivors. Off with these quote unquote buffs. They're not buffs. Aside from fixing the you did with the axe grab. Oh, and while we're at it, here's the problem. Whenever another survivor is hooked, you earn 1, 2, 3 tokens up to 999. So every time somebody is hooked, you get 9 tokens. While repairing, whenever you hit a great basic skill check, or, as people to use, stakeout, spend all tokens for each token spent, the generator gains 111% permanent progress. Was 2%. Wow, they really love their percents. Behavior. The problem was not the percents. It was this. The permanent progress. You guys are so stupid you don't understand. Let me start a story time. I'll play a game in the back. So, behavior. Time for the story time. I used to actually play nice. Now this game I still do play nice. For some reason. Now it could have hurt me because every single one of these survivors was running a gen breaker, not gen rush anymore, a gen breaker build with fast track, deja vu. There was one prove thyself. There was at least 2 teamworks. So guess what? Oh wait, maybe this isn't one I actually played nice in. Because lately, I have not been playing nice. My thing is slug, 4K slug, and or tunnel. Now, I can't imagine why killers are suddenly going to slugging and tunneling. You know, those evil things that you supposedly really hate. I don't know. Maybe it's because every time I hook somebody, I get punished by something I can't reverse. Maybe that's why everyone's tunneling and slugging. When I play with a Swift, somebody is always tunneled out. When I play killer, I always tunnel and or slug. My go-to is slugging. Because in my mind, if I tunnel, I still give somebody those charges. Are we getting there yet? Are we understanding yet? Punishing the killer for doing their job is a bad idea. Oh no, I guess this is one where I try to play nice. Oh god. Oh, there's another bug. A recall bug. Bug number 5, I guess. So, the problem is not the percentages, you dumb. It is the fact you give permanent charges that punish the killer for hooking. To punish that killer for hooking is going to result in mind-blowing. I mean, this is like science. But if a killer can't hook, they're gonna slug and tunnel. Now, you could say, well, how many times do you really see that? I see it every game now. There's at least one gin breaker. There might be... Oh, now everyone's getting tired of being slugged, so you have one gym breaker, one anti-slug, you usually have a sabo. Because survivors are tired of being slugged and tunneled, but killers don't have a choice. Because also, guess what? Yeah, oh, like, what was it? 3 days? Or a week after you released this bullshit called Fast Track, you also had it in the shrine. Like, geniuses. The problem is not the percent, it's what it does. You punish killers for doing their job. And if a killer wants to play nice, which in theory that's what you behavior want, is for killers to play nice and spread hooks and not tunnel, why the did you release a perk that punishes them for doing that very thing? I never slugged and tunneled until this perk came out. Now I will slug at 5 gens. I don't want fucking 4 gens to pop in 3 minutes. My average game, as I also said in the last video, is 4 to 5 minutes because all I get are gem breakers.
You will see.
Behavior. You are causing the slugging and tunneling. It is not killers. Let's get that clear. It is not evil killers who just want to ruin survivors' times and fun at this game. No, it is you. Behavior. You morons have created a perk that forces killers to slug and tunnel unless they are blight. And as I said before, yeah, good blight players, those quote-unquote nerfs don't mean. Congratulations on causing the slugging and tunneling epidemic we have now. When I play Survivor, slugging, tunneling. When I play Killer, I feel like I have to slug and tunnel. There is one exception, and it is Pyramid Head, whose cages do not count as a hook. Shocker that he is the only one who does not have to slug and tunnel. God, you guys are so stupid. You listen to the worst people. Except I will say, Lilith Omen, who... he played you guys like a fiddle. I wish the Springtrap consultant who you had done the same. But apparently whoever consulted you, the Springtrap, had too much faith in you to do anything good. Or they're just so hard on your payroll that they just gave you the most milquetoast bullshit to try to change. Once if you have trouble with Springtrap and you gotta recall the axe because they won't remove it for whatever reason, just let them keep it in their back. Then it turns into a 1v3. If you have to recall it, I need to know a scenario where you have to recall it. And you can't get it down. You're 50-50? Lunge. Learn how to mind game. That was not a necessary... I don't want to call it buff. It wasn't a necessary change. Just like the 1 second. Yeah, that 1 second will be nice if you don't know how to play the killer. And you're just like what I said before, machine gunning your axe. There are real problems, and they overlook the real problems for this board. Only for people to still probably end up using restaurant menu because you still get the faster recall. The recall everybody wanted. Congratulations, behavior. It up. And the whole PTB, oh, the T is for testing. No, it's testing. Oh, it's testing, all right. But it's not testing to see how the killer does. It's testing to see if they can get away with it or not. And they'll get away with this. Yeah, Swifts get a buff. Springtrap gets a big nothing sandwich. So all that bullshit of, well, you know, it's up and down. If the survivors won't use the doors, it'll definitely be enough. No, it won't. You didn't buff him enough to count as a real buff. What you did was buff Swifts, and guess what? Low MMR! Bad survivors aren't gonna use the doors, you morons! Because they will still get condemned by Sonic. They still get into lockers against dredges. My voice is giving out. I have zero faith in you. No, my faith is in the negatives. You'll either keep it like this, revert it, or make it worse. Trying to buff solo queue to use the doors. You need to rework the doors. So I saw somebody, I think in Scott Jones' comments, saying, they were answering to one of my comments, saying, oh, or it may have been on my post, where I was talking about this behavior. You have to empower Springtrap to make it a threat, to make him a threat, so they have to use the doors. Right now, all they use the doors for are wall hacks and teleports. And I gave big, long reasons why those were bad. How they are hurting Springtrap, and yet you keep trying to buff it. It will do nothing for low MMR, and it just fucking buffs Swifts. So congratulations, you dumb. I'm gonna hate editing this video.